Today I will be showing you the Italian tubular cast-on. The Italian tubular cast-on is a cast-on method that produces a tubular edge and is not a provisional cast-on. So this cast-on method does not use waste yarn, and it cannot be used as a provisional cast-on, so it goes directly into the knitting and is great for using where you want to make a tubular edge and you don't want to mess with using waste yarn or anything like that, and you are not needing to make a provisional edge that you'll be working with later. So to perform this cast on, you make a slip knot and you place it on your right hand needle, and the tail is coming forward and goes over your thumb, and the working yarn goes over your finger. This is called the slingshot position, and if you do long tail cast on, you should be familiar with this position. So to work this cast on, we are going to be picking up loops from each strand, and we'll be using the second strand as kind of like an anchor for those stitches that we are making. So to start, we take our needle and we go behind the finger strand, under, around, and we grab the thumb strand and then we pull it back and up. So we've picked up a loop from the thumb strand using the finger strand as an anchoring point for that loop. Now we need to get a loop from the finger strand, so we go in front of the thumb strand, around, and then we go over it and scoop. We want our right legs to be forward, so we scoop it from the front. And that has picked up a loop using the thumb strand as an anchor. And this is why you can't really use this as a provisional cast on, because both strands are making stitches. So now we're ready to get a loop from the thumb strand again, so we have to go under the index finger strand, around and up, and then back under. And now we go in front of the thumb strand and we catch that finger strand and back around. And you've got to keep everything down at the bottom of the needle so that these knots stay located down. You don't end up with twisted stitches around the needle. So we've got a strand from the finger, so we need to get a thumb, so we come around. And I have tension on these strands so that everything stays down, oriented down. And so on. And then thumb, and then finger. So we will anchor that with our fingers so that when we turn the work, we don't lose that last stitch. And to make this truly tubular, we need to work a few rows of double knit, basically double knitting, where we work one stitch and slip the next stitch. So I'm going to look at my cast on, and these stitches should be knits and these stitches should be purls. So I have a purl stitch presenting, so I'm going to slip all of the purl stitches. So I'm going to slip that first stitch, and then I'm going to move the yarn to the back to work this knit stitch. And then I need to move the yarn to the front to slip this purl stitch, move the yarn to the back to knit, move the yarn to the front to slip, move the yarn to the back to knit, and this is one of my double knit rows. For a truly tubular edge, you need at least 2 rows or 1 full round. No, I need to just slip that one of the tubular of the double knitting. So that was 1. Now I will knit and move the yarn to the front to slip the purl, knit, slip the purl, knit, slip the purl, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit. And there is my tubular edge, and they are called tubular because the cast on edge creates a tube, so that is why you need the at least 2 rows of the double knitting. You could move straight into your knit 1 purl 1 rib from here. Usually it looks better to do another set of slipping, so 2 more rows, but it all depends on your project, so swatch to see what looks best. And if you are casting on in the round, usually it's easier to work your tubular rounds, your double knitting rounds, flat and then join to work in the round after that's been done. And when you're done with your project, you can weave in the ends to close up that seam where you had worked flat for a few rows. So I'll do one more pass and then show you what that looks like. Knit and slip. And this cast on can tend to flare, so going down a needle size for the cast on and the double knitting rows can be helpful, and then move to your project needles when you begin the actual 1x1 ribbing. This looks best in 1x1 ribbing. So there is the tubular edge. So this is the Italian Tubular cast on. Thanks for watching.